O Father, have we failed you? O Mother, have you turned your back on us? What price must we pay for you to send your child unto us? For the chained and the scarred, for the broken and the damned, let us never forget the redemption price.
Welcome to The Black Butterfly, Book 1 of the Sacred Blood series by Sarah Yuher. Three Letters and Offerings. General Maverick Briardahl Bloodoath. From his office, General Maverick watched as the carriages began to leave the courtyard. Lord Frostfang had recently established a new iron mine, and two of the male slaves were good choices to go and work the smelter and mines. The gardeners were going to a wheat farm that had recently lost much of its workforce to a werewolf attack 2 moons ago. The girl with them was from a family that had consistently produced children with sparks of magic and was to be mated to a slave from a bloodline with strong magic. But that last girl, he remembered her visit to his office and when he had ordered Matron Bethany to purchase her from the orphanage. Erlias was her name, and they had no record of her family line. Maverick had no doubt, though, that she was Amaranth's daughter. She shared that scent of freshly baked bread with his grandson, Kieran. Erlias was strong and healthy. Reports from the kitchens had said she could work the kneading trough for the bread with little to no breaks. Her skin was fair from long hours working overnight, and her chocolate brown hair fell down her back in waves and was some of the softest hair he had ever felt, not since he had sent her mother to Winter Manor as offering 25 years ago. I hope Lord Frostfang does not find that birthmark offensive. However, what had surprised him the most about the girl was her blood. When he had tasted it, it had been like an explosion of power on his tongue that reminded him of a sunrise on a clear summer day in the heart of summer, even more potent than Amaranth's had been. Wherever the girl's father had come from, he had given her strong magic. The man had come to Kanem Academy 13 years ago, searching for Erlias. His hair had been the red of clay, but his eyes were the same gold as Erlias's. He had also shared her campfire scent and had resisted leaving his daughter with the Dampiers. Maverick had to show the man Kieran to get him to relent finally. The man had not wanted to separate Amaranth's children, but made it clear that he would return after Erlias's 19th birthday for them both. None of the paperwork on her mentioned instances that would indicate Erlias having magic, though. She was a riddle to him, but by law, all slaves with magic in their blood would be presented to vampires as offerings. The slave, Samantha, had weak enough magic in her blood that she didn't have to be offered to Lord Frostfang, and Maverick had decided to show the human mercy and give her a human husband. A few hundred years ago, a mage in the service of Lord Ferris had created a magical bracelet and collar set. When the collar was placed around a werewolf's neck, any person with strong magical talent could control the werewolf with the bracelet. The only ones the set would not work for were the vampires. The only explanation anyone could come up with as to why they worked for Dampiers and not vampires was the human blood running through damper veins. Just last year, General Maverick had led a squad of Dampiers into the mountains to hunt down a pack of werewolves and eradicate them. They had no alpha and broke quickly. They had killed all the adults and every pup old enough to remember. The youngest were rounded up and taken to Lord Ferris and the werewolves he had been breeding. Packs were forming more frequently in the past few years, and the wolves were becoming bolder in attacking farms. Maverick remembered the last words of the beta wolf before he had shifted and attacked the damper general. For the alpha with a heart of flame. Other rumors said that Princess Ethra was growing impatient with Lord Frostfang's lack of a human servant or vampire mate. It seemed having the best and most deadly army in one's service could only go so far. Or even being the most lethal swordsman on par with the ancient divine blades of the 5 divine sword styles. None of Lord Frostfang's knight siblings had bested him with the sword. Some even whispered that he came from one of the sword temples himself. There were rumors that Princess Ethra had destroyed the Winter Sword Shrine and was hunting down the other 4 sword shrines. All of it was an attempt to bring about something called an abyss blade. Maverick didn't know what that was, but a cold shiver ran down his spine every time he thought about it. Whatever an abyss blade was, even he feared it deep in the basest level of instinct. But what truly set Lord Frostfang apart from his knight siblings was not his army of elite-trained soldiers or his unmatched skill with the sword. Seraphina, the great cobalt dragon that breathed frozen flames on his enemies, was what truly set him apart. None dared to attack him directly for fear of facing the mighty dragon. Many believed he had found the dragon egg that bore Seraphina and raised her to be loyal to him. A few whispered that he was a dragon rider of ancient times in truth, the first since the fall of the Order of Dragon Riders over 8,000 years ago. Whatever the truth was, Frostfang and Seraphina were an unstoppable pair on the battlefield, and General Maverick had seen the devastation they wrought himself. A knock at the door brought General Maverick from his thoughts. He never turned from the window as he watched the carriages disappear, so he called out to grant the knocker entrance. Matron Bethany entered the office and gave General Maverick a deep curtsy, staying there until he acknowledged her presence and gave her leave to rise. Turning from the window to study the matron of slaves, he sat at his desk. She wore simple wool clothes and good sturdy boots. The humans that lived here at Caname Academy may have been slaves, but Lord Frostfang had ordered that they be clothed well if simple. It wouldn't do for them to die of cold or even hunger. She held a stack of papers in one hand, covered in her neat handwriting. The head slaves were all taught to read and write so they could give reports to the Dhampirs and vampires they served, and so they could have a written log of the goings-on of the slaves without having to micromanage constantly. Which slave gave birth to whom, how much was paid for a slave, their features and scars, and what punishments or rewards did each slave receive. All of it was recorded meticulously. Maverick had files on every damper and human at Caname Academy. Lord Frostfang's fledgling mistress, Rose, always wanted accurate accounts of all the holdings within Lord Frostfang's domain. Maverick had sent a copy of the papers in Bethany's hands with his grandson, Kieran. The young man was taking offering Airlias to Winter Manor. Maverick trusted no other with the task. The old general felt a moment of pity for the slave girl. Many of the other vampire lords and ladies had presented prize slaves to Lord Frostfang in the hopes of earning his favor, slaves bred for their beauty and the taste of their blood. And he had either killed or sent them away to his fledgling Master Loki and his blood winery. Thinking back, Maverick couldn't recall his master ever doing that with an offering the general presented. "Rise and report, Bethany," he said to the matron of slaves. Rising and smoothing her skirt, Bethany kept her eyes politely on the ground and remained standing, as she had not been permitted to sit on one of the chairs in front of the desk. Stepping forward, she set the stack of papers on the desk and returned to her original spot before beginning her report. Work among the slaves is continuing to run smoothly. We had a small problem with sickness among some of the slaves who worked the gardens, but the nurses at the infirmary were able to cure it before it could spread among the other slaves. No deaths were a result of it either. One of the children in the daycare had also begun to show signs of magic, while in the garden it was reported he had made a flower bloom. As he is only 5 years old, I believe when he turns 10, he should be moved to work in the gardens. If he truly has magic, it is most likely it has something to do with plants and could be useful in producing greater yields from the gardens, Bethany reported while never looking up. Maverick was skimming through the papers as Bethany spoke. The reports showed more of the normal. The only slave caught stealing this year was that Leah girl back at the end of last winter. There were no unplanned pregnancies, and it seems that none of the Dhampirs had been harassing the human slaves. Not since a few years ago, when one of the slaves had turned up pregnant with a Damper child. The young man had been kicked out of the academy, and once the child had been born alive, he had been ordered to marry her. The pair had then been sent to the nearby town, the young man to be apprenticed to the blacksmith, a beast of a damper named Lorthan, and a good friend of General Maverick. When Matron Bethany finished her report, she stood quietly with her head down, waiting for permission to leave. A knock sounded at the door while he was reading through the papers. Looking up, the general sighed. "You may leave and return to your duties, Matron of Slaves." And please send the next person in. As you command, General Maverick. With a deep curtsy, Bethany turned to leave, letting the next person in. Maverick recognized the young damper that entered the room, and while he could not recall the man's name, his lithe frame and clothes made for blending with the terrain marked him as one of the messengers in the direct service of Lord Frostfang. The young man set an envelope on the desk and bowed to the general before standing to attention as he waited to be sent away. Waving the messenger away, Maverick picked up the envelope and frowned as he recognized the handwriting. Mistress Rose had written the letter herself. As the messenger left, he opened the envelope to read the letter. If a vampire sends you a message, you read and respond quickly. The general's response was expected from the messenger when he returned to Winter Manor. General Maverick Briardal Bloodoath. I expect you have heard the rumors that Princess Ithra, may she and her Night Mother Queen Nefarian live forever, has been pushing for my beloved Night Father, Lord Frostfang, to choose a human or damper as his handmaiden and finally produce a pure line of Frostfang dampiers. I warn you, these rumors are very much accurate. From your last report, I am eager to see the slave, Erlias, and taste the power in her blood. You have always sent exceptional offerings to your lord. She will be no less impressive. But I am writing to you on another matter. Princess Ithra, may she and her Night Mother Queen Nefarian live forever, has ordered Lord Frostfang to hold a ball for his awakening night. I understand this letter will reach you on winter solstice, and you will have already sent your offering to Winter Manor. But as soon as possible, you are now ordered to send your best damper squad with my messenger to stand guard at the ball. The ball will be held on the last full moon of winter. May I suggest some of the ones that took down that pack of werewolves and captured the pups for Lord Ferris? He is pleased with the pups you sent him in Lord Frostfang's name. He and my Night Father's other Night siblings will be in attendance. While our Night Father holds a healthy amount of respect and fear among the other lords and ladies, reminding them of his strength and wealth never hurts. Your loyalty to Lord Frostfang has never faltered in the long years you have trained the Dampiers sent to Canim Academy, or when you have been called to lead them into battle against other vampires that have threatened our Lord's lands. So, I have no fear in letting you know that I have had a disturbing feeling in my stilled heart that change is coming to Eternia. There are more and more reports of werewolves attacking merchants who venture too close to the Eternal Forest, even rumors of werewolves leaving cities. More packs pop up every year. I do not know if these strange happenings mean an end to the reign of vampires, or if we will weather this and our queen and her king will live forever. Be vigilant, General Maverick. All of the blood must stand in loyalty to the crown if we are to survive this coming storm. May the blood continue to bless you. Mistress Rose, Night Daughter of Lord Frostfang. P.S. Your grandson Corin arrived safely and has begun the preparations for his test. Briar and I both agree that he will do well. His father, Victor, has taken the lead in preparing him. If he passes, I would like to find him a suitable wife. I have also been watching for a suitable wife for Kieran and have assembled a rather extensive list. I want to review the list with our Lord and Kieran when things settle down from the winter ball. Please inform him. He is 23 years old. It is time he produced children for his master. He set the letter down on his desk. General Maverick was surprised at the forwardness of Mistress Rose's letter. Some of what she had stated in the letter could have been taken as treason if seen by the wrong eyes. It was a testament to the feeling of change she was feeling. Maverick picked the letter back up, went to the fireplace against the wall, and tossed it into the fire. No other eyes would see the letter. His loyalty was to Lord Frostfang, and he would not be the cause of one of his fledglings being executed for treason if he could help it. He decided he would lead the Dampiers she requested himself. He returned to his desk and began writing orders for his Lieutenant General, Horace Briardal Bloodoath, while he was gone before preparing to gather his men and leave for Winter Manor. The ball was in just over a month, but you never left a vampire waiting when they ordered you to do something.
Enter the world, but tread with care. Those roots remember every prayer. Carved from ash, from bone, from flame. The sacred beasts don't play your game. Here change comes, swift on silver wing, with dragonflies that bite and sting. Truth flickers soft and sharp as steel, and every wound must learn to heal. Don't come armed with hollow lore. This world won't let you fake the war. For those who think they understand, you'll bleed the fastest by your hand. So read and ache, be torn apart. These stories rise from broken hearts. With grit and teeth they scream and soar. You've never known a world like this before.